Hi, this is Juniversa with the Waffle Press Movie Podcast, but we're talking video games today, as we have promised to have more video game content on the show, and I'm joined by my longtime co-host, Nick Valero. Nick,
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
I'm doing good. I wonder how they're doing.
Yeah.
But, we wanted video games. We discussed like once or twice before to some followers, and I thought the best way to start is a game that is kind of like a movie. I would say more so like maybe like a Netflix show or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very serialized, but around the same thing. And I thought that would be a good segue to get into video game
Absolutely.
content, which was Batman, the Telltale series, The Enemy Within.
Yes, The Enemy Within. I personally, I really liked this season.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good season, mind you. If you guys haven't played the season, we're going to talk all spoiler
Yes,
choices.
so I hope they played it.
I hope you've played it already. If not, go get it. Go play it. All 5 episodes are out. Enjoy it. It's one hell of a good time. If you ever wanted to be Batman, this is where to go.
Yeah. Well, I really, I love the first season. We'll go over our experience playing the first season, just recap it a bit. But what I like about this, games like Arkham Knight, Arkham City, you get to be Batman, but this is more about being like the moral compass of Batman, where it really examines his philosophy and how he does things, because I think that's what makes him so... What makes him so interesting is the choices he makes, how he has like an obvious, such a moral center, and his code, and unless you just seen on Batman and BVS, he doesn't kill, he doesn't, he doesn't brutalize people, and even though he's like the stone cold vigilante, that's what
that was the cool thing about this, is that you could be the detective, that you could always be that detective Batman, but you could also be the Frank Miller, breaking bones,
right?
And, like,
kind of crossing the line.
Yeah, crossing the line, going like, oh well, he's young, he'll heal, right? Stuff like that.
And the game, he never flat out kills anyone.
No.
Yeah, but
if there was any death, it was always an unintentional, like something happened, or he tried to save everybody and people died.
Right.
And stuff like that. It's really awesome. But the thing is that the main reason I like Batman, the Telltale series in general, is the main reason why I like all the Telltale series. They give you the greatest illusion of choice.
Yeah.
And I say illusion of choice is because there is a road that you follow. Everybody's going to end up the same exact place that everybody else ended up at.
More or less.
But the thing is that everybody's going to take different avenues or similar avenues in order to get there. And that's what's really interesting. Because it gives you the illusion of you're choosing the script on your own. Mm-hmm. From what we were talking about earlier, is that your time with Batman Telltale was vastly different from mine.
Yeah, we had different experiences playing, which is great, that a viewer could, two different players could have such a different experience.
Yeah, and it's just based off your choices. Not only that, but also the game has such playability because of that. Because you can go back and go like, you know what, I'm gonna do things differently. I'm gonna see what happens. Because I noticed that when I made a whole bunch of different choices in my second playthrough, my episode 5 was completely different from my original episode 5. Mm-hmm. Like, it was vastly different. And I was like, oh wow, I'm playing in a completely different episode.
Yeah, well, the cool thing was, I believe, the writer for this season, he wrote like 2 completely different scripts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the most ambitious thing they ever done.
Yes.
It's up there.
Yes and no. It's definitely up there. But I mean, they do. I mean, if you go over like their history and everything like that, they did the Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, a couple other games in between. Then they started really doing, and they weren't really hitting their stride yet. They weren't really hitting the momentum that they are until they hit Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah. What was just going off of that, because we wanted to discuss some of the history for Telltale. What can you tell the listeners just about their early games, some of their first choice based games?
Well, here's the thing though. A lot of their games in the very beginning were more or less. They were still going choices. That's the whole point of Telltale. It's all about your choices. But the thing is that they didn't have all of the all the licensing that they do now. So like Telltale used to make Puzzle Agent 2, Sam and Max, Hector, Poker Night, and the in the inventory. There are a lot of Texas Hold'em games, CSI games, stuff like that. Point and click games that were very easy and no one really took serious.
Right.
But once they really did hit their stride and figure it out. Like once again, like I said during Walking Dead, in their first Walking Dead game, they were able to not only make a compelling story but also make the controls feel intuitive enough where a player is not only picking up if they jump in, they can pick up the controls automatically, but also they are just mainly engaged and they're trying to get to the next cutscene or more information and want to talk to these characters.
Yeah, I mean, I played the first season of Walking Dead, and you felt it didn't feel like some extended cutscene. It felt like you were actually in that world making choices.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I really did like that, and I liked the idea that even out like if you spent more time talking to the characters and stuff like that, choices would start changing. Just because you started to understand them better and stuff like that. Like in The Walking Dead, if you didn't talk to a couple of the other characters, you wouldn't find out about Duck. You wouldn't find out about a couple other things. Just based off of not talking to them and everything like that. Just casual conversation led you to understand these characters more and figure out what their motivations are, so that way you knew exactly how to either manipulate them to get them to do what you want or to get them to join your side.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I feel like in Batman season 2, they very much used that and achieved it in the best possible way.
Yeah, no, I agree. All the choices you made mattered. It wasn't it wasn't arbitrary. They all moved the story. They all moved it along a bit, right?
Yeah, I did think it was interesting though because on my second playthrough, I thought it's very jarring because they don't exactly explain how Joker finds out how you became Batman, like how you are Batman.
Right.
But
yeah, but that's kind of a long time Batman thing where it's just assumed the Joker knows.
Yeah, like Joker. Like I love the idea that Joker's always known.
Yeah, he's always known.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And
because he has no one to play with if he reveals his identity to anyone.
Yeah, and not only that, but also he can mind fuck Batman even more because I know who you are. I could get you at any time I really want, but I just choose not to.
Right.
And everything like that. Nobody in your life is safe, Bruce.
And just backtracking here, just really quick, let's just recap our choices from season 1 because that leads into this. Did you say so? Kind of the main diversion point in season 1 is either saving Catwoman or Two-Face. What did you choose?
You saved Catwoman.
Okay, I saved Catwoman as well.
So Harvey became all Two-Facey.
Harvey became Two-Face, and once he becomes Two-Face, you could either confront him as Two-Face when he takes over, when you go into the asylum, or you could confront Penguin, who is your big bad that you chose to confront in the fourth episode.
See, the thing is, I've done both. I've done both. My first playthrough, I believe I went to go confront Cobblepot. Two-Face inside of the manor.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, because I was more worried about Alfred. So I assumed Penguin was fine, I can deal with him later.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, So I went after, I went after Two-Face, and then Cobblepot was able to take over, the Bat computer and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I went after Cobblepot because I felt that the all the Wayne Tech stuff was too easy, it would be too easy to affect his persona and compromise him, so I had to go back to Wayne Tower, of course.
What I also thought was Lucius Fox is there.
Yeah.
And Lucius will be able to more or less keep Penguin out for as long as possible.
Right. I mean, yeah. There's no like wrong choice in the game for certain things like that.
Well, the thing is that if you went after Cobblepot, I believe Wayne Manor is burned down, isn't it?
It is burned down, but if you don't go after Wayne Tower, then all the tech is compromised.
So my thing is that
because
because you went after Cobblepot, so that means that in season 2, where were you staying? Were you in Wayne Manor, or was it being rebuilt?
It was being rebuilt, so I think he was at some penthouse.
He was at a penthouse?
Yeah.
All of my stuff was in Wayne Manor.
Okay.
So in season 2, all of my events and stuff like that all were happening inside of Wayne Manor. Does that mean that the Batcave was a different Batcave for you, or?
No, it was still the Batcave. Actually, I believe it was just from the Batcave because that's the only thing that survived.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But the last choice. I really like Lady Arkham as a villain. I'm glad that they did their own villain, which I mean, it was still kind of Vicky Vale, but they kind of had their own take on her. That she's also this kind of like anti-Batman, where she was also messed up. And I really like the boldness. I really commend Telltale for like. I'm trying to remember a phrase someone used. I was reviewing it where they said it wasn't like a remix, but they were like kind of. They took everything you know about the Bath mythos and then they twisted certain aspects of it, or things that you recognize are different and twisted, like Thomas Wayne being a part of this
being part of the mob.
Being part of the mob that controlled Gotham. And that was just really fascinating to me that they took that risk.
Well, not only that, but also, I feel like the mob angle makes more sense than just they happen to be in the wrong place, wrong time. And stuff like that. Like, what are the chances that a prominent family would just get mugged in the back in Crime Alley?
Yeah.
And be murdered and stuff like that and everything else. Whereas, what about if Thomas Wayne wasn't the saint that everybody thought he was? Mm-hmm. What about he's a fucking monster?
Right, and they kind of go a little bit of that in the graphic novel Long Halloween, where Thomas did work with kind of Falcone to an extent. He, patched up, I believe maybe it was his, one of the Falcone relatives or something.
I think it was like his nephew or something.
His nephew, and so that's been touched on before, and I kind of see that as a inspiration.
What I thought was really interesting is that Warner Brothers and DC, they didn't exactly stop Telltale. Mm-hmm. They pretty much just gave him the reins and do what you want. Like you can, because they gave him like free reign to just do whatever. Yeah, they basically told him you don't have to do any story that's already been told. You don't have to stick to any lore that's already been told. You can pretty much do whatever you want as long as it more or less sticks to what Batman is.
Right. And stuff like that. And it still does. It's still Batman.
Yeah, no, at no point during the thing was I like, yeah, that's a choice that would never be Batman. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. And I loved I do think that, when Telltale really did a major touchstone on when they did Wolf Among Us, because that's a Vertigo comic and everything like that. So automatically that was like their kind of like test run with Warner Brothers with DC to kind of see like, oh, okay, how will you do?
Yeah.
If we give you like a no-name character like Fairy Tales.
Right. I didn't play Wolf Among Us, but
dude, you're missing out.
I know, I need to play that, but yeah, I could definitely see how that was that gave them kind of the push to do something like Batman. Yeah,
and I really, to be totally honest, I enjoyed their Batman more than I liked Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, let's briefly touch on that, because I had mixed feelings about Guardians, because there was like two of those episodes are really good. Like that, I enjoyed the finale. I enjoyed the first episode, and yeah, part of the second one was okay. But then there's so much of that series that just meanders, and it felt very uninspired.
I mean,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
there's that's the thing though, is that I feel like what Telltale did for a couple of their things is they just kind of went like, well, let's just make an episode and stuff like that. Like let's throw an episode out because we need like a filler episode in order to get us to, bigger things that are happening. Because I mean, I've played their Minecraft storytelling, story mode, and it's good for like maybe like an episode or two, but like after that you're kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
okay, this is a paycheck, and you could really feel that it's a paycheck and stuff like that. Like in no way does it have like difficult choices.
Yeah, like there wasn't passion behind it.
And everything like that.
But just really quick, for season 1 of Batman, did you choose to reveal yourself to Lady Arkham or try to save Alfred?
I've done both, but my first time I revealed myself to Lady Arkham.
Yeah, I did that as well because I felt Batman wouldn't compromise Alfred, wouldn't put him at risk, and yeah, it felt more of a choice that Batman would make to put himself at risk instead of anyone else,
Yeah, and I thought that was I thought that was a interesting idea. And stuff like that, because if you don't, you're missing part of your ear. If you reveal yourself,
missing your ear.
Yeah, you're missing part of your ear, but if you don't, and you don't reveal yourself to save Alfred, he loses a fucking eye.
He loses an eye. Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, like, oh shit, like he loses an eye because you didn't want to like reveal yourself and stuff like that. I thought Lady Arkham would have been a cool like member of the Rogues Gallery, and if she ever like becomes, to be totally honest, I felt like that was what Dark Knight Returns what was it, Arkham City should have done. With the Arkham Knight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like Arkham Knight should have been like should have been like a Miss Arkham.
Yeah, like he was. You wanted him to be an original character.
Yeah, not Jason Todd or anything like that.
Yeah.
That was a total cop out. I feel
it was a very weak reveal. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, but the thing is that for Lady Arkham, like I was even going through it too, going like, well, who could it be? Because he's just beginning being Batman, so it can't be Jason Todd. It can't be specific characters. And then revealing that it is Vicky Vale is very interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting twist on Telltale's part.
Exactly, and then that leads into season 2.
Nice.
What did you do with Joker in the asylum?
I allied myself with Joker a little bit, but I didn't get the phone call. I didn't. I don't think I threw him under the bus, but I wasn't willing to let a patient die while they're fighting. So I just kind of. I didn't reciprocate Joker's friendship.
I did.
You did?
I did. Because I felt like anything it takes to get out of here.
Right.
And stuff like that. Like I need to get back to the mission. Anything it takes to get out of here. And stuff like that. And that was more or less. So I did do like the whole like, befriending Joker a little bit more.
Yeah. It's I mean it makes sense at some point, to do that, but yeah, I couldn't go through with it as my Batman.
Yeah.
That may be your Batman. But.
Yeah, that was my Batman my Batman was very manipulative. He was very... Yeah, like he was continuously kept on trying to manipulate Joker or manipulate people around him and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, to be totally honest, in season 3, I would love the season to start out at the circus. Oh,
with Dick Grayson and all that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be a good starting point.
I think that would be a really great starting point, and then it's more or less like the rest of the season is you trying to teach Dick while also trying to solve his parents' murder.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that would be a really interesting idea. And you could do so many things because you would already have a sidekick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have Tiffany if you chose that, but getting ahead of yourselves. Yeah, I could definitely see that as as one of the storylines they could choose. But just going right into the episode, we're just gonna, for the listeners, we're gonna go over the choices we made. Me and Nick had we had different storylines because we chose one. You chose Joker the Vigilante.
First time I chose the villain, and then the second time I went for vigilante.
Yeah, I chose. I'm gonna choose Joker the villain because that's just how my playthrough led me to.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get the vigilante. I will admit that because I had to make a lot of choices that I normally wouldn't make.
Okay. Can you let's elaborate about?
I had to make a lot of choices that I really wouldn't make. You have to. John Doe very much has to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure to align yourself with him. Right after the failed heist and everything like that with the pact. It's all about getting John back on your side because Harley Quinn is on the run. And stuff like that. And that episode is like the huge portion of it where you have to not only trust him that he didn't murder
people.
Like he didn't murder a bunch of people and that they shot first with his bullshit story of like, oh yeah, they shot at me first and then I shot them and everything like that. So you have to kind of like trust, you have to like say that you trust him.
To this like criminal mastermind.
Yeah, you have to go like, oh yeah, I totally believe that you didn't murder these people even though all the signs show that you did.
Yeah.
You have to let him like search for Harley Quinn by himself, which like already those two things are just like they don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're going against your better judgments.
The vigilante ending. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to note. Whereas he had to place a lot of trust in John at the time and his choices, and I think there is some sort of like, I wouldn't say decency to the John character because he is kind of psychopathic at the end of the day, but there is some loyalty to Bruce Wayne and like a friendship he legitimately felt. So I would say the choice to trust him has some weight to it.
It does, and I really did think that for anybody who's never played like a Batman game or anything like that, and doesn't know who, and is like really determined to go like, you know what, I think I can change the Joker. And make him a good guy, and stuff like that, is something very difficult, and stuff like that. And it is really interesting because you have to also trust John to go calm Harley down.
Mm-hmm. And it's like having
it's having the blind leading the blind, having a psychopath talk to a psychopath to calm her down, to not blow up the bridge.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe there's some logic in there.
There's a little bit of logic, but but the thing is that you have to put so much trust in John, and then you also have to abandon any loyalties that you have with Waller, with Catwoman, with anybody else, and basically just go, John, you're gonna be my dude, and stuff like that. Because I also betrayed Catwoman.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with that is, obviously she's such a staple of Batman's love life, but I really enjoyed the Catwoman character where I didn't want to betray her, and she's such an interesting part of the game that you'd want to have her stick around, and I think she was a valuable ally.
In my first playthrough, you can get, because if you play it correctly and then you get villain Joker, and you're in good with Waller, she will do you favors and stuff like that. One of my favors was to clear Catwoman's record.
Yeah.
So in my main playthrough, Catwoman has a clean slate.
Okay.
So I thought it would, because she's already kind of living with you more or less in Wayne Manor, and then I also gave her a clean slate. So I thought, let's build the Bat family even more.
Right.
Because I think that would be really interesting if next season you have Tiffany, you have Catwoman, you have like all these different people who are now joining the fight
against injustice.
Against injustice, yeah. And I think that would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. But why? Just before we move to another choice, why do you think? And I know you chose both. is Joker the vigilante the stronger option? And I'll say why the villain is.
It's a stronger option just because honestly, it gives you a deeper impact in seeing how maniacal Waller can get. Like how, because Amanda Waller is always played the fence.
Yeah, she's kind of a morally good character.
She's very much a morally great character.
The mythos and all
but
that.
But you do see that once you've, once you've kind of put her in a corner, that she's very much making difficult choices. And that goes about, making the Suicide Squad, giving giving villains, a role in the agency to kind of bring both you and John in. It puts you in a very difficult position. And I really did enjoy that,
So yeah, it brought a lot of more complicated, more interesting story-driven.
Yeah, but not only that, but also as the vigilante, Joker's actually doing a nice callback of who you are, and you're all about this code, but you're willing to let Waller go. You align yourself with Tiffany even though she murders the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get if you made that choice, Catwoman is trying. You're trying to get Catwoman to go free, but she's a known thief. And it's like you're not morally right. You're wrong. All these people should be brought to justice.
Yeah, it's like Batman's moral absolutism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things of like it's only good if Batman is benefiting or the people around Batman are benefiting, but if anybody else, then Batman's going to kick him in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And it's very much like that's not the way that justice works, though. Justice is supposed to be blind.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing that Joker's trying to get past as a vigilante is that justice is blind. These people should be, they should be killed for the things that they've done. Mm-hmm. We should kill them right now. And if we truly want to make justice blind, and we want to be the vigilantes that you say that we can be, then we need to do this. And Batman is like, no, that's not. We don't kill. We don't do anything like that. You're trying to get this into into Joker's head, and it just doesn't work. Yeah. And you're forced to take John Doe in.
Yeah, I do see that logic where, it goes with Batman's, moral code. But I mean, for me, I chose Joker the villain. It was about Batman's moral code, but it was also, because I do believe Batman has some flexibility in his code. There are some clauses where he can brush the line a bit in my interpretation of the character. But at the end of the day, he could team up with Catwoman because, she doesn't kill anyone. She just steals, and he's like, that's
not that bad.
That's not that bad, but it's like where, this crazy person, John Doe, has all these bodies and all these, literally blood on his hands. It's just, for my Batman, I couldn't let that go. I did feel there was some loyalty to John, but I felt that the main driving force is Batman's moral center in terms of not justice, but his protection of life and his trying to do the right thing.
Absolutely, I did understand Joker's point of view, and I did feel that Joker did feel betrayed. That's the entire reason he turns into the Joker, is because he feels betrayed.
Right.
And he wants to get vengeance on you because you betrayed him.
Mm-hmm. Just an interesting thing to note is, I love how, because the main thing with the Joker is, he doesn't, again, we go back to the killing, not again, we go back to the Killing Joke where he's, he says it's multiple choice and origin, and Batman has always been involved with his origin, either mostly indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
He falls through a vat, and what's interesting about the Telltale Joker is his face is already turned white. He's already kind of crazy, but he isn't fully committed to this, being the clown prince of crime. When we first meet him in Arkham, he's trying to kind of be normal, and I felt either choice you make, first, the end of episode 4, pushes him along this path into completing him as this, as regardless of which choice you made, as the Joker.
Yeah,
and that was very interesting to me.
No matter what, I thought it was really interesting because both sides of it, in both mediums, he's still the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, which I actually thought it would have been funnier. I thought it would have been nicer if they would have used the crime syndicate.
Oh, yeah, the Earth 3 Joker.
Yeah, Earth 30 Joker's name, where I think he was just like the.
Do you think he's the? I think he's either the jokester.
I think he's the jokester, or he's like the comic, or something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Like I felt like as the vigilante version, he should have embodied had a different name than the Joker,
right,
and stuff like that. And I think that would have been an interesting change of it you created the Joker or you created the trickster or you created this other.
Yeah,
person.
that would have been a good duality to complicate the story for sure. But I mean, I was okay with that. I was okay that.
Yeah, I thought that was just a small little tiny.
Yeah, it was slightly different.
Because I thought for anybody who was a comic book fan, or anything like that, and then they would have called him something different. Anybody who knows the crime syndicate universe of Earth 29 would have been like, oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. That's a nice little nod to that, and everything like that. But I mean, besides that, I really do like the idea of the Joker in episode 5.
Yeah.
The Joker, villain Joker in episode 5 is very much pinnacle of the Joker. Mm-hmm. He's killing people. He has a dastardly plan, and he is just meant to psychologically fuck with Batman,
right, and
make Batman break his code. By the end of tonight, I'm gonna make you break your code. Mm-hmm. And he ends, and it's just in Batman fashion. He ends up finding a way to beat the Joker. But I love the idea of going around, going to Alfred, going to Tiffany, going to Catwoman, going to Batman, and making them, realize their darkest secrets. And it's like, these people aren't the people you think they are.
Yeah, it was very true to the Joker's character to do all that, because at the end of the day, if you see him in Killing Joke or The Dark Knight, he's always trying to push people past their limits, past their sanity.
I felt like that dinner scene was pulled from
Death of the Family.
Death of the Family. I really did feel like, because that's basically what he's doing in Death of the Family. He's very much saying all of these people, you guys are all wearing masks, mm-hmm. and you all don't know Batman or each other as much as you think you do.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and I really loved that. But I also like the idea of Joker also betraying Harley. Mm-hmm.
But that's also kind of how he is in the comic, where he's always. I mean, again, they had a different dynamic to the relationship, they had a different dynamic to the relationship, but he's always kind of treated. Harley's always gotten the short end of the stick from the Joker.
Yeah, but you know what?
They're not couple goals. Excuse me.
No, they're not.
I hate seeing that.
No. But you know what? I do like the idea of Harley Quinn not being this. That she left Arkham Asylum, and became insane for different reasons other than the Joker. I thought
she's obsessed. Yeah, it gives her own agency, her own Her own
not
character.
only that, but also I feel like she falls. And I do understand them falling in love. Mm-hmm. By the end of episode 4, because she's found someone that is cut from the same kind of cut from the same cloth. She feels like a lot of connection towards him by the end of it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I love when they make that kiss right before jumping off the bridge, and right when he kisses her, he has his red lipstick now, and it's like, oh, he's truly become the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But yeah, no, Harley was one of the most interesting characters this season. I'll agree to that.
I actually was I was wondering whether or not you can make a love connection with Harley.
I don't think you can.
No, but the thing is that there's a lot of stuff that implies that you could, though.
I mean, yeah, there is some hints at that.
And stuff like that, because I always, because what I thought and what I really wanted to go about it was, if possible, could you get Harley to like basically calm down yourself or anything like that? Because in episode 5, if you turn Harley in and you become a vigilante, she becomes a member of the Suicide Squad. And she's bent out to kill not only you but also Joker. And it's also really interesting too because Waller upgrades the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Waller gives Harley Quinn a brand new hammer that like electrocutes people. She gives Bane like a brand new suit that like that basically like injects venom directly into him via his spine, and she modifies his venom serum and stuff like that. These become fully fledged Batman villains by the end of the Vigilante version. Whereas in the other one, she doesn't have a need for him. She just sends him to jail.
Yeah, they took her to some very interesting places, and I was happy seeing the character. Again, she kind of, in mind, she did go to jail, but you felt that you felt very like taken aback by some of the places she goes to in the game. But just moving on, just wrapping this up for that choice. Did you shake hands with the Joker at the table? Yes or no?
In the Vigilante one?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did?
I got tased. Yeah.
You got tased. Yeah. I did shake hands with him. I felt
like I just had to.
You were kind of put in a tight spot, and so you had to appease him a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also got shocked. So, it was very classic Joker. That's his.
Absolutely, and I really did like because even as Vigilante Joker, he has knives and blades, and he's all about like just like these like explosives and everything else. It's really interesting. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. Also, if you choose Vigilante Joker, you are way more beat up by the end.
Oh, are you?
You are, like, impaled, like, beat up.
Okay.
Like, Joker blows up the roof of Gotham, of GCPD. And you're trying to save everyone by getting rid of the bombs. And you go get the final one, and it blows up right underneath you, and you fall 5 stories onto a bar.
Jeez.
And like it goes like right through the side of you, and then they have to pull you off of it, and so you're fucked up. Like you fell 5 stories onto a bar, and it's impaled you, and this is only halfway through the game.
Yeah. You
still have to go you still have like a long way to go, and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you have to get a tetanus shot. You have to do all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my Batman got a bit beat up, but yeah, he didn't get impaled, so...
Yeah.
I think your Batman probably saw a little worse for wear.
Absolutely, yeah.
And...
also Tiffany, Tiffany gets a Joker ring, a smile ring, through the hand.
Okay.
In mine. So she's actually injured. Because if you get Vigilante Joker, Tiffany joins your crusade a lot earlier. Okay. So she's by the end of the Vigilante one, she's already your partner.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. Some of the storylines with Tiffany. Yeah. But did Gordon betray you at any point in the game?
In my first playthrough, yes.
Okay.
But Gordon went back on it.
You went back on it, okay.
Mine, Gordon goes back on it. Mine
as well. Is that in the Vigilante or the...
No, actually in the Vigilante when Gordon comes back to work.
So there's no choice involving Gordon?
No, there's no choice involving... The only choice that's involving Gordon is because Waller gets kidnapped. After GCPD gets blown up, he kidnaps Waller, Joker, and you have to end up finding him. And you're on the hunt of trying to find the Joker with Gordon and Tiffany. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where you're at.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't necessarily, so there is no choice of the Joker forcing Gordon to betray Batman or anything like that because of anything else.
Yeah, let's just touch on that briefly.
Also, Gordon apologizes.
He does apologize.
Well, no, in that section, you and Gordon become closer. Like Gordon actually apologizes, saying, I crossed a line the other day, and I shouldn't have. And can you forgive me for doing that? I shouldn't have arrested Wayne, and stuff like that. Like I've crossed. Waller's put me in a corner, and I overreacted and stuff like that. And he basically spills everything to you, and you're forced to kind of go like, whether or not you forgive him or not.
Oh, interesting. That whole kind of any choices involving Gordon is a little bit left out, right?
Yeah. So the choice of Gordon is very much like whether or not to keep him fired, because you do have to inspire him to get his job back, and to continue your crusade, or not. Basically, he's no longer going to be a member of the GCPD.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I like some of a little off topic, but I really enjoyed what they did with Gordon as a character this season. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed what they did with Gordon. I think that I kind of wish that there would have been more choices involving Gordon and stuff like that.
Because he could either get like fired or.
Does he get fired in yours? Because he got fired in mine.
Yeah, he got fired.
Yeah, I think he always gets fired.
Okay, so that's a constant.
No matter what, he always gets fired. Because he always goes to arrest Bruce Wayne, and then he gets fired right then and there, and stuff like that. But it's your connection to Batman. It's his connection to Batman. That's really like the main like diversion, and stuff like that. Whether or not you order him around, whether or not you call him when Bane breaks into GCPD, whether or not you keep him in the loop. Because my thing is that I would have really enjoyed if even after he gets fired, you're still sending him information.
Yeah, if he could have been more intertwined with the story somehow. Okay. Well, yeah, my Gordon, just briefly touching on it, is he went back on it, and then he gets kneecapped by Joker, and he walks with a cane, which is implied at the end of the game. And yeah, he really gets put through the ringer in the villain ending. And based on some of your choices, he couldn't go back to the Force.
Yeah, I mean, technically, especially if he doesn't have a kneecap or anything like that, he can't go back to the Force. But also, it also depends on your choice whether or not he goes back to the Force, whether or not you inspire him to, go back and become a member of like the GCPD or early retirement, because there's actually a moment where you can say maybe we should both retire and stuff like that. Like maybe we should just like not do this anymore.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And applaud Telltale for taking risk with that character. Let's go to the ending of the game. So regardless of what
did you do with Vesta?
Vesta, I said, or in what scene?
Basically her end scene of did you have Vesta destroy the vials of Riddler's blood?
I did. I had her destroy the vials, and that got her in trouble with Waller.
Did you offer her a job at Wayne Enterprises, or did you just say like you could do better?
You can do better.
You said you could do better?
Yeah.
I gave her a job at Wayne Enterprises.
Okay. And did she take it?
Yeah, she took it. She took the job at Wayne Enterprises.
Okay.
In both my storylines.
Dick move on my part of Batman.
Huh?
It was kind of a dick move on my part.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad because she got fired because of me.
Yeah.
So I offered her a job, not like, oh, you got fired because of me? Oh, that sucks. You should really start looking for a new job.
Like, I'm only a millionaire. I can only do like...
I only have a multi-billion-dollar company.
Right. But, yeah, my Vesta... Well, we'll get to this because we're talking about...
Well, did you have a Vesta or did you have a partner?
I had a Vesta.
Because you could have her partner instead.
Yeah, you could have that.
In which I didn't.
Yeah.
I never saved her partner.
Yeah, I didn't save her partner. Well, she was... I would obviously... If I, during the first episode, if I made the wrong choice, that's actively, leaving her to die, I guess. With the Riddler thing.
Well, the thing is that you're also actively helping her partner die as well.
True.
I mean, either way, that was my thing though. I kind of want to do a playthrough where I save Avesta's partner and not her.
Yeah, let's just replay it right now. But yeah, really quick, Mr. Nick. Okay, so regardless of vigilante or villain, you had to fight the Joker. You know, you messed him up. He goes to Arkham. But how did you influence Waller? And we're gonna go off the list of characters.
Well, first, did you say that you ever thought of Joker as a friend?
I did. I said that I did think of him as a friend, and we did have some good times. Okay. Taking selfies and causing mayhem.
Which is actually really interesting, because if you read the thing, it says that Joker feels that you're just as insane as he is. Because you said that you were friends.
Interesting.
In the after thing of like the the after scroll of each character, if you read through it, it says Joker, because you said that you did think of him as a friend, Joker feels that you're just as insane as he is.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Read it over again, and it tells you like what the choices meant.
Gotcha.
And stuff like that. So Joker thinks you're just as fucking crazy as he is.
Is that for yours?
Huh?
Is that what you got?
I got it on both, because I said that, because I told him that he was just into the criminal and everything like that, and for my vigilante one, for my villain one, and he told, and like it was very much like Joker's Joker thinks of you as his greatest enemy and his rival and stuff like that. But the second one I said that I did think of us as friends, and it says Joker thinks that you're as crazy as he is because you thought you were friends. Okay.
That's that's an interesting angle.
Yeah.
Can you turn the light?
Huh?
I'll pause for a second. Can you turn that light on?
Yeah.
Thanks. Cool. Thanks.
No, but yeah. No, okay, so that's interesting. So you actually did all of that. So you said that you thought he was friend, that you were friends. Which in the Vigilante version, there's an after credit scene.
There's also after credits in mine. Let's not get about
okay. I really want to find out what happened in yours, because I've played through both. They're both different.
Yes, they are.
And I thought that was, and I really want to. I don't understand the second one.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, you chose to influence Waller, of course. How did you choose to influence her decision in Catwoman?
For Catwoman, I said to wipe her criminal record. Mine was to not punish Avesta, to put Gordon, to reinstate Gordon at his original post, so back to Commissioner, and Catwoman would be free.
Okay.
And she would not have, her criminal record would be free, and then also that Tiffany I would handle.
Yeah, I basically picked the same choices. Because, I think at the end of the day, Batman cares about people, even though he's this dark, brooding vigilante, and, he would play the game to get his friends.
Vigilante one, you do not get as many options, though.
That's true.
So in the if you get Joker as a vigilante, you don't get as many options. You actually have to blackmail Waller.
Oh, really? Okay.
You have to blackmail Waller. So what ends up happening is that Avesta doesn't get fired just for that, for destroying the blood. Avesta gets fired because she gives you all the dirt on Waller. And she gives you Waller.
I hope he gave her a job.
Yeah, so Waller basically destroys, is meant to, the agency's been doing, crooked things for all these time, and Waller's supposed to go in and clean it up. Well, Waller, instead of destroying all the research like she was supposed to, was putting it aside.
Interesting.
And she was making copies of it, and she's basically been, hoarding all this information. And the agency thinks it's all destroyed, but in reality it's not. So you are able to have this giant document. This giant file on Waller where she's like, okay, this is a fucking stalemate. Mm-hmm. I won't tell anybody who you are, but that's it. And then you actually have to tell her, you have to turn in John in order to free Catwoman. You do not get an option for Gordon.
Really?
There is no option for Gordon. Gordon has to fight for his job back.
Jeez, that's tough on Gordon this season. Everyone was just shitting on him.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's kind of how that runs down.
Okay, because I had the choice of reinstating Gordon, and of course I did, because, You know, he's my bro.
He's my homie.
Yeah.
He's my homie. That's Gordon.
Of course, he's like one of his surrogate.
Well, because my thing
one
is
of his many surrogate fathers.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because I think Gordon full on betrays you if you just cast him aside and you embrace the agency. Because you know how, like, at the very last minute, he goes, I can't do this, this is a trap, don't come, and everything like that. I think if you just abandon Gordon and he gets fired and you just start working with the agency and everything like that, he actually does betray you because you fucking abandoned him. He has no connection towards you anymore.
Yeah, you completely, screwed him over.
Yeah, also, Bullock doesn't get fucking... You don't have to cut Bullock open.
Oh,
in the Vigilante
one. That was really gross. That's
yeah, the Vigilante one.
I like that sequence, but... Yeah.
It's an interesting... But you know what? I thought they pulled that from The Dark Knight, and I really kind of liked it.
Yeah, that's a homage I could see.
I thought they pulled that from The Dark Knight. Like, they were like, that's a cool little, like, idea, and stuff like that. Like, why don't we do it? And everything else.
So, regardless, you did influence Waller.
I did influence Waller, but I had a blackmailer bitch.
Yeah, you had a blackmailer. And what was your choice, before we go to the last decision, what was your choice on Tiffany? Because you did choose to, confront her.
Join my team.
Okay, join your team. I also chose that, but I want to hear your reasoning first.
I feel that Tiffany didn't understand the mission.
Okay.
She didn't understand what Batman was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And I felt that she murdered the Riddler when she didn't know that that Batman could help.
Mm-hmm.
And she also didn't understand his code altogether, where it's killing is the easiest method I could use. If I wanted to, I could kill everyone. And I wouldn't have these problems. But the difficult choice is to save them and to try to reform them and make them better people.
Yeah. That's what Batman, his code is about.
That's what his code is, and everything like that. And I felt like that if she had a mentor, that she would better understand that.
Right. And, this isn't unheard of in the Bat mythos, that he takes someone in that's a bit criminal, that has actually committed murders. You could see that with Jason, where he was a street thug in New 52, and he's
I thought he did take in, what's her name? One of the Batgirls.
Cassandra Cain?
Yeah, Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, Cassandra Cain, I believe she did kill people at some point, but I was going to use Damian as a main example.
Damian's a good example of that.
Damian Wayne, which is his son, where he killed, I think in his first appearance, he kills some B-level villain called the Spook.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, though, because I thought it was interesting that they used Tiffany instead of Luke.
Yeah, that's...
Because Luke is primarily more Batman hero and stuff like that, because he becomes Batwing and stuff like that. And I thought that was interesting that they were like, oh, well, let's not use Luke Fox. We'll use Tiffany Fox. In which I actually don't know does he ever have a daughter?
He does have, he has a daughter.
He does have a daughter?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if he ever had a fucking daughter. If they just added that in just for Telltale. And I was like, I thought, I only remembered Luke Fox.
Yeah, Luke is an interesting character, but I don't know, I'm glad that they chose, Tiffany was an interesting choice. It was a very inspired choice. I would appreciated Luke, but I commend them for maybe doing something I wouldn't expect. So,
what do you think her? I thought it would be interesting if they named her Gear.
Gear,
or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what her
code name would be.
Her code name would be maybe Bluebird.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's one of the new 52 characters that's in the Bat family. There was a lot of people in the Bat family at this moment in time, so she could be a bunch of...
I think it's Killer Frost, Clayface, Catwoman.
Well, not Killer Frost. You have Clayface, you have Batwoman, you have Batgirl, you have Batwing, you have Nightwing.
There's a lot of people in the
Robin, Red Robin, so there's a lot of people.
No, Killer Frost did join for a little bit.
Is she?
Okay. In Rebirth, yeah, she joins up.
Huh. Okay, well, I could be wrong. But, yeah, I felt Batman, I do agree with your choice, because at the end of the day, he's a good person, and he makes choices because ultimately he has, a good heart, and he does want the best for people. So I had to have him reform Tiffany, and I didn't think that was breaking his code.
Well, I also liked what he said, too, where she's like, oh, you're forgiving me, and he goes, no, think of this more as a sentence.
Mm-hmm. He's punishing her for that murder on his own terms.
Yeah, you're not getting off scot-free. You're gonna have to protect the city, and that might be more challenging than just going to jail. Jail might actually be the easy part.
She has to learn to be a better person. So
yeah, so jail was gonna be easy. Becoming a vigilante hero of Gotham.
That's hard. Yeah.
That's way harder, and getting a moral code is going to be very difficult for you.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So I thought that was going to be really interesting.
Next season what mask she'll take up.
Well, I think it'd be very interesting if she became Batgirl, especially if you did choose, depending on the last choice, if whether or not you're still helping people or anything like that. Like if you're just running. If you're basically doing like old man Batman, where you're just like mentoring people, and they're out there doing like the Batman thing. So I thought that would be kind of interesting, depending on the last choice.
Yes. So what's good in the last choice? The cliffhanger, regardless of whatever you choose for this season, and either choice I felt was a very interesting place to leave the character. And I'm gonna go first, Nick.
Go ahead.
So you get a choice, or Alfred is pretty beat up from the last 2 seasons, and he wants to leave, and he gives them the ultimatum: either he leaves or he gives up Batman. So I chose to stay as Batman to let Alfred leave, because to me Batman, I don't see it as an addiction. I see that's who Bruce Wayne truly is. He is Batman. Without that outlet, he would go crazy. He'd be a wreck. It's ultimately him being a vigilante, him like saving people, doing good in the world, saves him as a person. That's the only thing that makes him happy, and it's his moral responsibility to protect the city. So of course I had to keep him as Batman, because for the greater good he had to go out, he had to stop all these maniacs, and even though some of his choices do lead to some of these people going crazy, Joker, Two-Face, at the end of the day, he still stops them. He doesn't indirectly.
He does more good than bad.
He does more good than bad, and he owns up to these choices, good or bad, that lead to these people. And even if these people are reactionary to Batman, the city would be in a worse place without a Batman entirely. It wouldn't make things better. Him just taking off the cowl, then that would just lead to more crazier people terrorizing Gotham.
It's the same idea as was it in The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman goes dormant for 20 years.
Yeah, and the city gets worse.
And the city gets shit. It just goes to shit.
Mutant gangs and all that.
So. Yeah, and everything else. I chose to keep Alfred.
Okay.
I chose to give up the cowl.
Okay, so defend your logic.
I felt that Alfred was very much he's very much your dad. And everything else, and I didn't want, and I thought that Alfred is the most important thing in Bruce's life.
Of course,
and
yeah, because he is his surrogate father.
Yeah, and I thought that making sure that Alfred is okay is more important than being Batman. Mm-hmm. And Alfred is right. There are other ways Bruce Wayne can help the city. Yeah. And stuff like that. And Bruce Wayne doesn't need to be out fighting crime, especially if you have Tiffany. Yeah. And stuff like that. Like, maybe I can train her and she can be the new Batman or Batgirl or whatever it is, and she can help the city out and I can help her. And as Bruce Wayne, I can do new research, I can do, orphanages, and I can do everything like that, and I can help the city where it needs it. And stuff like that. Maybe my money can help it instead of just, my fists.
Okay. And that goes back to, there is no wrong choice in the Telltale game. It's based on your own
personal moral code.
Yeah, your own personal moral code, your own personality, stuff like that. And there isn't a wrong choice in this. It's just it's just your own logic, your own code.
I think it'd be very interesting, especially for the next, because I think if you made the choice to give up being Batman for Alfred. Mm-hmm. And
that's not unheard of either Alfred leaving because he's left in, he left in Nightfall, he left in Dark Knight Rises.
He's left in a lot of times.
He left in a bunch of times. And Batman has given up the cowl a few times.
Batman's given up the cowl for a couple of people.
Yeah.
You know, and and that's a very interesting idea of Batman just kind of dropping everything and going on vacation or not doing it at all.
Right.
For a specific reason, whether it be he thought he failed someone or he thought he couldn't do any good anymore. But more or less, I thought it would be very interesting just to see how whatever new villain comes to town and everything like that, and especially if you've given up being Batman, whether it be for a year, 2 years, anything like that, giving up being Batman. What exactly would that mean? How would the city be? How does everything else affect everybody else? And also, what is the major thing that tells Bruce you need to get back into the fucking game?
Yeah, it does leave the story in an interesting place. That'll, whatever they do in season 3, will give us this unique storyline we haven't really encountered before.
Because to be totally honest, I really wouldn't mind having a 3-year gap.
Yeah.
Like a 3 to 5 year gap. I really wouldn't mind it if it's like it's been 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce has not been Batman in 5 years, or Alfred has been gone for 5 years.
I mean, as long as it's not like, oh, his leg was broken and then it's suddenly healed because of a magic.
Because of a magic. No. But I mean, like his choice,
of course.
Him making a choice of not being Batman for 5 years is very, because it shows resolve and everything else, and Batman coming back into it for some major problem.
Mm-hmm.
Something is happening that I need to do it, and I think that could be either Ra's al Ghul, it could be with the League of Assassins, or you could have. I mean, you could do a bunch of different.
Oh
things.
yeah, for sure.
Hugo Strange, especially since you're putting a bunch of people into Arkham.
You could have Hugo. And just wrapping up here, Nick. We were talking about you said what you want to see in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any storylines, anything, because they kind of do similar. They kind of adapt some stuff.
Yeah.
Long Halloween. Is there any storylines you want to see? Anything in particular you want them to do?
Very much. I want to. Like I said, I really do want to see the Dick Grayson.
Okay.
Bruce Wayne being a father figure.
Yeah.
And especially him being a father figure to not only Dick Grayson, but also him being
Tiffany.
a father figure to Tiffany.
Yeah, because that grows the Batman character when he adopts Dick, when he adopts Tim, because when he gets his I think in one comic he says that's what kept him alive, because he had to look after Robin. Without Robin, Batman becomes more risk. He takes more risks. He doesn't.
He doesn't take as many risks with Robin and everything like that. And I thought it was always really interesting because even in the Vigilante one, he even talks to the Joker like that, where he goes go into the shadows, which will make yourself scarce. Don't make sure nobody can see you, just in case something goes bad. You're my backup. And Joker goes okay, and he goes off and he skulks into the darkness.
Yeah.
And everything like that, and it's kind of that makes total sense. He needs backup.
Mm-hmm.
And everything like that.
He needs someone watching his back.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting.
So I really hope that they play with that a bit more. Because
not only that, but also I feel like that would be very interesting too, especially if you did give up being Batman, and you have this kid who, Bruce is, he's moved because both of his parents were murdered, and he's he's sneaking out at night, being Batman. Without Dick Grayson knowing, and without Alfred knowing, and he's trying to hunt down the murderer.
Yeah.
Knowing that he needs to find this guy.
So let's pitch this to Telltale.
Yeah, I mean, let's pitch it to the guys at Telltale. But I think that would be a very interesting storyline, to find out that of what's going on with Zuko and everything like that, and kind of
the mob family.
Yeah, going. Because you know what, we haven't really seen much of the mob.
No, not really.
I mean, we took out the Falcone family and everything like that in the first season, and everything else. But I think that would be a major. That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be the mob that kills him and everything like that. You can, because I mean, if you do go back to the origins of Robin, and actually there is some drawings by Bill Schuster that says it was the Joker. The Joker the Joker hired Zuko.
Oh, interesting. That'd be an interesting thread to explore.
Yeah, that Joker hires Zuko, and Zuko ends up killing because the guy who is running the circus owes Joker money, and what was it? And so he sends Zuko to send him a message.
Mm-hmm. And just just wrapping up here. Obviously, I love Telltale as a studio, all their creative choices, all the writers they have. But let's just briefly touch on how do you feel some of the personnel changes, some of the internal struggles inside Telltale will affect the series? Just on your expertise, you work for a video game.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple.
Experience.
I know a couple of them. A couple of guys that work at Telltale.
Yeah, what can you say?
Stuff like that. You know what? I don't know if it's going to affect their. I don't know if it's going to affect the quality or anything like that, because Telltale is very much a quality studio. The only problem is that they're still indie.
Yes,
even though
they're in San Rafael,
Yeah, even though that they make big titles like Batman, Guardians of the Galaxy, Game of Thrones, everything like that, they're still an indie company. They still can make mistakes, and the shitty thing is that they're running on old technology. Their engine has been updated since 2008.
Oh wow.
So in most video game engines, there's this thing called a physics engine.
Mm-hmm.
Which basically says that if something is dropping, all I need to do is click, paste, and now it drops inside the engine. What some of the game creators were saying is that we have to physically make that inside of our game. So if anything flies through the air, like a batarang or anything like that, we have to physically put it into the code and then redo it. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot of time.
That explains some of the glitches.
Yeah, it explains a lot of the glitches. And the engine is made for an Xbox 360. It's not meant for high quality PlayStation 4, Xbox One, everything like that. Like it's a fucking old engine, and it needs to be updated. And I'm hoping that they update it.
I hope so too. I mean, at the end of the day, I love Telltale. Wish them the best, but
But I mean, don't get me wrong. The thing is that's also not an easy thing to ask for. Yeah. That could cost somewhere near like $2 million just to like develop it and put it into production and everything like that. Especially when that's getting an entire team together and trying to get that and make your engine. Especially when you still have to be pumping out games to be making money. Yeah,
and I mean they make profit, but sometimes just internal problems just lead up to, stuff you can't control. If you look at like, what are some examples of just game studios where, stuff like this happened? Pandemic?
Game studio, probably like BioWare. BioWare is a huge one. If you're a fan of Mass Effect Andromeda, that is hardcore. Like a studio that just kind of dropped the ball, where basically what they did is they sent it out to four different studios to kind of get made, and it was rewritten like 3 times during its development time. The story changed like 5 times.
Yeah.
What was it? They originally and. At a certain point, they just gave up on the game, and they were just like, let's just put it out there, and we'll make our money back.
Yeah, just do it live.
Yeah, just do it live and everything else. Ubisoft is also another one. On their Assassin's Creed games, where they don't fucking check them at all, where they just do little to no checking to see how exactly these games are run, or whether or not they have bugs or anything like that, and that leads to in Unity where people are talking and they don't have faces, and it's just like a fucking it's just eyes and a mouth moving, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, some of the I've seen, if you look up a YouTube video, just look up glitches and like Unity glitches and
and some of them are
terrifying.
Some of them are terrifying,
or
different stuff where you fall through a map. Yeah. And you fall through the game.
I hate that.
Yeah, and you have to restart the game.
That pisses me off so much. But yeah, I mean, I really hope this doesn't happen to Telltale, and we, again, we're just speculating. We're just going off of information.
I feel like the rearranging of the studio is gonna do a lot for Telltale, and either they're going to prosper and they're gonna do really well after this, or sorry to say it, they could flop.
Yeah.
It can go one of two ways. I'm really hoping that
I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope that doesn't happen, but you know what? That is something that could happen.
That's a possibility, but we hope them the best. Regardless.
Make Batman season 3 first.
Yes.
And also Wolf Among Us season 2. But
yeah.
You have to play season 1 of Wolf Among Us.
I will when I have some extra income coming in.
It's
hey, maybe
it is a $5 game.
Yeah, if you plug the Patreon, if someone plugs the Patreon, I can play whatever game you want. But just wrapping up here, Nick. We're both Batman fans. We're both big video game enthusiasts.
Absolutely.
It was a good pleasure talking to you about this game, and just video games are the next sort of storytelling, the next wave of like how to tell a story, how a modern audience is told a story, and their medium of choice sometimes. And yeah, it was really fun, talking about it.
And I feel Telltale is very much at the front of.
They're at the forefront of that.
They're at the forefront of telling an amazing story, and I want to see more of it.
Of course,
that's it.
Yeah. So we'll do this again for season 3, or maybe another Telltale.
Absolutely. Also, if you want, we can do crowd play of the game and everything like that. If you guys want that, put the comment in the bottom. Once again, like, subscribe. And share with your friends.
Of course, yeah.
Everything like that. If you want us to do an actual playthrough or everything like that, let us know in the comment section below. But besides that, we have been Unprofessionally Professional.
Okay.